Why?
Why?
If you have T-Mobile 5G home internet, you might be hearing this
Why?
a lot.
Why?
Every time your internet slows down during the busiest hours.
Why?
Why?
Because your network gives priority to cell phone users.
Why?
Good question. Why not switch to Cox Internet with 2 times faster download speeds than T-Mobile 5G home internet during peak hours?
Okay.
Stop the whys and visit cox.com/5G home for details. T-Mobile prioritizes certain T-Mobile phone users over home internet users during times of congestion.
How powerful is Cox Internet? So powerful that one day, your daughter will be able to simulate a soccer match against some of the world's best players right from your backyard. Get gig speeds powered by fiber from Cox. It's internet built for tomorrow, today. Internet delivered through Cox's hybrid fiber coax network. Speeds vary and are not guaranteed. Cox terms and other restrictions apply.
In the Northern Hemisphere, the longest night of the year just happens to coincide with the holiday season. And while you decorate that merry tree, light candles, and sing carols in the snow, remember that this is the perfect time for ghost stories. It's a homespun Haints tradition to share a holiday ghost story with you this time of year, and we have one we've been saving for today. But be warned, this episode may not be suitable for everyone. It contains stories of death, dying, childhood trauma, and giraffe urine. Let's tell some spooky holiday stories today on Homespun Haints. Hello, Hainted Loves. Welcome to Homespun Haints. I'm Becky.
And I'm Diana.
And it is our special spooky holiday episode. Mwahahaha.
So special, so spooky. Just for you. Have you missed us?
Have you missed us? We haven't put anything out since, I think, November 1st, right after Halloween. I know.
I missed you.
I missed you too. But we've had a lot going on over here behind the scenes at Homespun Haints.
This is true.
We've been working hard at our YouTube channel. We've gotten our mockumentary series off the ground, complete with episodes about possessed dolls and portals and haunted theremins.
If you don't know what the hell we're talking about, go to YouTube now.
Yes.
Go do it.
YouTube.
Press pause, go watch YouTube videos, laugh a lot, and then come back.
Well, okay, yeah, you can do that. Or listen to this and then go straight to YouTube.
All right, the pressure's on. This better be good.
Yeah. But anyway, our YouTube channel is at youtube.com/homespunhaints. If you are new to the show, every year we throw out a holiday episode and we always act like it's a big surprise, but we do it every year.
It's a surprise to us. We're doing one this year? All right.
Pretty much. We never quite know if we're going to be able to pull it off. And this year it almost didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, I got COVID. I got breakthrough COVID.
It's like COVID for the holidays.
Yes, exactly. And this is how much I love you all you hated, lovely listeners. I am recording this episode with COVID so that you can have some spooky Christmas stories to haunt your Christmas day or your pre-Christmas or your solstice or, well, Hanukkah's over with. Whatever it is you're celebrating. I wanted to make sure that you all had this. You had my spooky COVID-laced voice.
As far as I know, you cannot transmit it via airwaves, but just be careful. Wear a mask while you listen to this episode, guys.
Just not over your ears. We want to make sure you can still
not
hear
on your ears,
yeah.
No.
No. And don't be like me and wear a thong on your face. That was an accident.
That explains a lot.
Yeah, that's how I got COVID. So I gotta tell you, I'm very grateful that it's not that bad. I mean, it's bad, but it's not like I'm grateful. I am very grateful and thankful. If there's anything I'm thankful for this year, it's that it's not that bad. But I do have to say, Diana, the one thing that does really suck about it is the complete loss of a sense of smell.
Yeah, you got that one?
Yeah, especially around the holidays.
Gosh.
It blows. Man. All those wonderful scents like peppermint and evergreen. And I just ordered this batch of homemade incense on Etsy. I can't smell it. Yeah. I just got into making candles to help you get out of your portals. I can't smell them. And of course, it's the holidays and we're quarantined, so I've got all this food I'm making and I can't smell it. The family comes in, they're like, ooh, that smells good. I made a big mess of collard greens today, and I was like, good, I wish I could tell if it smelled good. I can't tell if these pork chops I'm cooking are good or bad, or they went bad before I put them in the fryer. We'll just hope they're good.
That's frightening.
Oh, but Diana, I was like, okay, there's going to be one thing I can smell, and that's going to be shit. I'm sure I could still smell shit, right?
Generally, you can.
Yeah, because your brain, I mean, we are designed to be able to smell shit. Like one tiny percent of a part per million, we can detect the smell of shit. It's like we're wired that way.
Oh, yeah.
So we don't eat where we shit. And I am sad to say I actually stuck my head in a toilet today and still couldn't smell it.
Was it someone else's shit or your own?
Well, there wasn't anything in the toilet at the time, but because we all have COVID, the house is... I mean, the toilets haven't been cleaned in a while. And an unclean toilet usually smells.
It needs to maybe come fresh from the source.
Is
Perk
that what I
those
need
cheeks
to do?
and give it a good sniff. Give it a good sniff between the cheeks. Dogs do it. I saw a giraffe doing it earlier this week.
What?
So. Yeah, no, I saw a giraffe sniffing another giraffe's ass as it was shitting. And then it peed, and the giraffe gargled with its urine. I'm not kidding. It got a big slurp of that urine and then went and tossed its head back and forth in the air like it was so happy.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Aren't you glad you're not a giraffe? Your sex life is so much more predictable, isn't it? Don't have to taste the pee to be like, are you ready? My in-laws had the same reaction to this story as you're having right now. It's kind of obvious that I shouldn't tell this story to other humans. It was funny. One of the other ladies watching the giraffes was like, did you see that? I was like, yes. This is a moment we'll always have together.
I don't know why I ever tell any stories at all. I should just let you open with whatever you saw at the zoo.
This is pure luck of the draw. This is the first time I've been to the zoo in like 2.5 years, and I just happened to witness a giraffe gargling another giraffe's pee. It was great. And then I turned around and a baby rhino peed, and then he turned around and got so excited about the puddle that he started splashing and dancing like Happy Feet. It was a beautiful peacecapade at the zoo. This is literally right behind the giraffes.
Oh, God. All right, everyone. Well, if you're new to the show, you've probably learned that not only do we talk about ghosts,
sometimes you just got to bring the real world into it. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Ghosts and practical things.
And that's why this episode's going to be called Christmas and the Pee Gurglers. So, Diana, I have missed you.
I've missed you too. Get over your COVID so I can visit you.
I know, I will, definitely. Before we get started, I do want to make sure that you know how to find us, because you're definitely going to want to tell us what you think of Diana's giraffe gargling pee story. Please follow us on Instagram at Homespun Haints, Twitter at Homespun Haints, Facebook at Homespun Haints, our Facebook group at facebook.com/group/Homespun Haints, and believe it or not, we are also on Pinterest and TikTok at Homespun Haints, though we're kind of pathetic there, but we do have a presence. Put a video of my cat fetching a pencil the other day on TikTok. That did not get a lot of attention.
That's what takes off, is videos of cats.
Yeah, so didn't. We're complete idiots when it comes to social media, so please follow us, because we're really trying hard in our own weird way.
Why?
If you have T-Mobile 5G home internet, you might be hearing this a lot.
Why?
Every time your internet slows down during the busiest hours.
Why?
Because your network gives priority to cell phone users.
Why?
Good question. Why not switch to Cox Internet with 2 times faster download speeds than T-Mobile 5G home internet during peak hours?
Okay.
Stop the whys and visit cox.com/5G home for details. T-Mobile prioritizes certain T-Mobile phone users over home internet users during times of congestion.
Prepare to enter an immersive world of tragedies, hauntings, legends, and folklore. Southern Gothic is a podcast that will take you deep into the dark history and haunted lore of the American South, exploring some of the region's most infamous tales. From the swamps of Louisiana to the shores of the Carolinas, isolated communities of Appalachia, and the bloody battlefields and earliest settlements of Virginia. This is where ghost stories come alive, grim secrets are exposed, and mysteries, well, you need to listen to find out. Join us now at southerngothicmedia.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Deep in the bowels of Oklahoma exists a passageway that has remained locked for decades, untouched by mortals. We don't know why it was sealed nearly a century ago, but we are thirsting to find out. So thirsty. Do you have the same insatiable curiosity as us to see what lies beyond his threshold?
On September 24th, 2023, we will unveil the shadows together via livestream as we open this sealed passageway, slaking our thirst for arcane knowledge. And we want you to be there with us. Virtually, of course. This may be dangerous. We don't have liability insurance.
Oh, my eye!
But what will we find? Is this passageway a sealed tomb, a hideaway for treasure, a portal into another dimension? Maybe it's aliens.
Even we won't know until September 24th, and you can be there to discover the secrets with us.
I'm not scared.
Visit homespunhaints.com/basement to RSVP for this event and find out how you can participate in this interactive adventure with us.
As long as there's darkness to explore, we shall remain its loyal devotees.
RSVP now and immerse yourself in the abyss of the unknown that is Diana's Basement.
Visit homespunhaints.com/basement.
Giraffes gargling pee for Christmas? What? I wish I'd had a camera on me. I mean, of course I have a camera. This is like the 21st century. Of course I have a camera on me. But I mean, like, I wish I had my camera out and I was filming, because it really only was like 1 second worth of giraffe pee gargling, but it was a lifetime's worth of memories.
Aww, such a moment. Speaking of animals, we're here to tell ghost stories.
About
Christmas ghosts.
Christmas animal ghosts?
Yes, of course.
Kind of?
Yes.
You sent me a teaser earlier and I was intrigued.
Well, it's a little bit of a sad story because...
Oh, no.
Well, Christmas is all about sadness and ghosts, right?
No, yeah, that's true.
This happened about almost 30 years ago. It's a small story. It's not a grandiose, I saw Krampus type of story. It's just a nice little heartwarming story about a woman that nobody really liked. She was my great-grandmother.
You are too much of a good girl to see Krampus, Becky. I
don't
imagine
know.
I'll see Krampus before you do.
My great-grandmother could have been Krampus. Anyway.
So a woman that nobody liked, your great-grandmother. Proceed.
Yeah, poor Baba. She lived a very, very long life. I knew her. I knew actually a lot of my great-grandparents. See, there's a few reasons that people live a long time. Sometimes they just live a long time because they're mean. And that was the case with my Baba.
They refuse to go away because they just have to stick it to you one more time, huh?
Yes, exactly. And it may be for this reason that in my family we have a very irreverent attitude toward death. So I apologize in advance. There may be a trigger. This may be a trigger for you if this is, well...
If so, you may not want to listen to our entire discography.
Right, because it's about ghosts, and unfortunately we can't talk about ghosts without talking about death.
Right.
I've actually had several interactions with my dead grandparents and great-grandparents.
Ooh.
So I figured this would be as good a time as any to relay them to you, Diana.
Yes. Relay.
But the first story does occur at Christmas. It was Christmas of 1992. Almost 30 years ago. 29 years ago. My family never went to Florida for Christmas. We always went to visit my mother's parents in Asheville, North Carolina, which is also extremely haunted.
Oh, yeah.
But this particular Christmas, we decided instead to travel down and visit my father's parents. And if you've listened to some of our previous episodes, you've already heard about my grandparents, my grandfather, his affinity for building things in octagonal ways. He likes octagons, okay? He likes to build octagons. He's a contractor and he builds octagons. That's just...
Anything with less than 8 sides has an open side, right?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. That's a discussion for another time. There's a lot of octagons and cows and wildlife and gators and bugs.
Rooms that are open to the outside world.
Mm-hmm. And things crawl in and things crawl out. All about
This is
my
Florida, though.
grandfather's house.
It's just wrong. It's just wrong. Letting the outdoors in Florida.
My grandfather's mother, my great-grandmother, we called her Baba.
Which means father in Chinese, just so you know.
Yeah, and in Russian, we say Baba, short for babushka, for grandmother.
Oh, okay. So it's a Russian thing.
No, this is because one of my uncles couldn't pronounce grandma when he was a kid, and he just said Baba instead, and it stuck.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I'm down with that.
Has absolutely nothing to do with any particular culture. We spelled it B-A-B-A, but it was pronounced like Meemaw, but Baba, B-A-W, B-A, Baba, black sheep. I don't know. Anyway, Baba. Poor Baba.
Baba. The more you do that, the more I can't help singing that.
Oh my gosh. Rest in peace,
Sorry.
Baba. Okay, so Baba.
Sorry, go ahead.
She was toward the end there, and we knew it, and I think that might be part of the reason we decided to go down there, just to pay one last visit to her. And before we arrived, she had decided she was going to die. She had decided to starve herself to death. And when she heard that we were coming, she started eating again, so she would have a chance to say one last goodbye to us. And she also made sure that she thoroughly guilted me and my sister. She did tell me that I killed her a few times while I was there. I carried guilt with me for years after that because she told me that she died because I wasn't taking good enough care of her. I was 13.
And you were a child.
I was 13, yeah.
Wow.
She did that to everybody.
So nobody misses Baba.
Nobody misses Baba. She was kind of a wretched woman. So anyway, let me back up. I'll just move into that slowly.
So the meanest woman in your family died.
No, and I wouldn't say she's the meanest woman in my family.
Oh no! Oh no! God, I don't want to meet who can top that.
No, you don't.
No, I don't. Frightening. I thought the gators were going to get us when we went down to Central Florida.
I bet Baba could wrestle a gator if she wanted. So we went down to visit Baba, and she started eating again. My grandparents had a beach house on the same island that they had set Baba up on. They had bought her a little house. This is before people really cared about living on islands, so it was pretty cheap. So they had bought her a little house so she could be on her own. And they set us up in a beach house they had down the street from her. And the first morning we were there at 6 a.m., we got a phone call from Baba. "Where's my breakfast?" And that was how our vacation began.
So where was her breakfast?
I think my dad told her to go to hell. I don't know.
That's where.
That's where she is now. Anyway, so my grandmother came out to give her breakfast. My grandmother is a dear, sweet soul, a lovely woman. This was her mother-in-law. This was not her mother. This was her mother-in-law. My dear, sweet grandmother, who really owed this woman nothing. Didn't really like her very much, but still did the right thing and came out there and fed her and clothed her and bathed her and took her to the doctor and apologized to us that Baba was yelling at us to bring her food. After about 3 days of staying on the island, I couldn't handle Baba anymore. Because every day she wanted me to come over and read to her and listen to her nag me and tell me how ugly I was. And so I decided to go stay with Grandma in the woods, in the octagons without windows, without glass, where the gators climb into the swimming pool whenever they please. That was preferable to having to stay by Baba. I was at Grandma's for 3 days, and we had Christmas, and it was lovely. We all had Christmas together, and it was probably the last time my family ever had Christmas together, all of us. It was very nice. I remember 2 of my cousins gave each other Barbie dolls that they had removed from the packages and then Frankenstein together with other parts and made into different versions, different mockeries of their original selves, and then made fake packaging and packaged them back up and gave them to each other. That was really cute.
That sounds adorable.
And we swam in the pool and we sang carols and we put a giant tree up in the middle of Grandma's living room right next to the pool. We had a really good time. We had a really good dinner. And then I went back to see Baba to bring her a Christmas present because she was too old to come out to the house for Christmas. And I walked in there, and first thing she did was she said,
Where you been?
and I said, well, I was at Grandma's house. She's like,
I could have died. In fact, I'm gonna die, because you weren't here to take care of me.
and I, little sensitive, sweet child of mine, thought, oh no, Baba, don't die. And I left, and I was pretty upset. And I came back later that afternoon, and Baba was lying down in the bed, and Grandma was rushing around. See, Grandma had been a nurse when she was still working, so she was very capable of taking care of Baba. And she was rushing around, and there was another woman there. I think it was one of my aunts. And Baba was lying on her back, and she said, I'm so very tired. And then she shut her eyes, and Grandma recorded the time of death, and I watched and wondered if I had been the cause. But I was set right. Don't worry, I didn't live with guilt forever, because Baba never came back to haunt me. So I knew it wasn't my fault.
You don't have any unfinished business. Get off this plane.
Well, like I said, she didn't come back to haunt me.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
See, the thing is, Baba, sweet dear that she was, she always told my grandmother that when she died, she was going to come back as a little yippy dog and annoy the shit out of her. Now, I've described the house where my grandmother lives. It is in the middle of nowhere. The only animals out there are wild animals.
And cows.
Well, and cows, yes. They're domesticated large animals and smaller wild animals.
Okay.
I mean, for Christmas, they would shoot a wild turkey. There was wild animals everywhere. And gators. And warthogs. And anacondas. And lots of things that would eat a little dog. Miles and miles and miles from the nearest house. The nearest owner of any sort of domesticated pets. And yet, 3 days after Baba passed, a little yippy dog showed up on my grandmother's front step.
No.
Just a tiny little thing. Grandma had no idea how it could have gotten there without getting eaten. She was so sure it was Baba. And she let the dog in, and the dog followed her around for almost a week, nipping at her heels. Grandma even said it sounded just like Baba.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
After a week, poof, it was gone. No sign of it. No sign of it ever even having been there. Nobody knows what happened to it. Nobody knows where it came from. My grandmother was sure it was Baba. She knew it was Baba. Coming in to have one last argument
Oh, no. I mean, what else could explain that? How can a dog show up miles from the nearest human habitation?
A little one, too.
Right, through forests infested with random animals that are going to eat it. I mean, there's like, what, gators and panthers
Rattlesnakes.
and I mean, Florida, people think of it as the happiest place on earth. It's the dangerousest place on earth.
It's the dangerousest.
It really is. We're going to Florida in February and going to tromp through the swamp, and I'm terrified, but I'm buying some snake garters and pulling up my big girl pants and going to do it. But, oh man, I could not live out there without windows in my windows.
Yes, I know.
Oh.
It's terrifying. It's definitely an adventure. It is a jungle. It is a jungle. And yet
Truly.
somehow Baba made it there.
These are the same woods we're going to hear about in season 4, so you can decide whether or not they're haunted. But based on this story, I think they totally are.
Oh, yeah, they're totally haunted.
Yeah.
Maybe not just with humans. Yeah.
I'm going to come back as a yappy dog. Apparently 1 week of spite was her unfinished business. And she's like, all right, 7 days later, I'm good. I think I've annoyed my daughter-in-law enough.
Mm-hmm. Time to move on. When I tell this story, I know I tell it with joy in my heart. And a lot of people have this look of, like you, Diana, this horrified expression on your face.
It's not like I have any grandparents I'm terribly bonded with. Man, that's intense.
Not every family is wonderful, but I do love my grandmother, my grandfather. My mother's parents, where we usually spend on Christmas, they have since passed. They passed a few years ago. I was never particularly close with them. I don't have a quarrel with them. It's nothing like Baba. But I do really like the story of the time that I got a phone call from my mother's father 3 months after he died. I didn't recognize the number. Like I said, we weren't particularly close. But I was awakened in the middle of the night. It was like 3 a.m. by a phone call, and I looked over and I saw it was an Asheville area code. And I went and looked up who owned this phone number, and it had a person's name. But then I scrolled through who the previous owner of the phone number had been, and it was my grandfather. So whoever currently owned the phone certainly wouldn't have my number. I could only chalk it up to be my grandfather. But I also knew that he would not ever call me intentionally. So I assumed he butt dialed me from the afterlife.
This is a t-shirt we need to make for our show, butt dialed from the afterlife.
Right? I immediately called my mother and said, my grandmother was still alive, and I said, please check on Grammy. Granddaddy accidentally called me instead of you from the grave. I think he was trying to reach you.
And your mom said, what the fuck, Becky? Or did she just say, that sounds like him?
Well, she's like, okay.
See, your family's totally unpredictable to me. I have to ask. My family would be like, what the fuck, Diana?
No, my mom thanked me for the call and said she had just spoken with Grammy and she was fine.
Oh, good.
I was like, well, I don't know. I don't know what he wanted to say. Oh, yeah, the message. There was a voicemail, and it was just static.
Well, I mean, it's hard to get reception on that side.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's not surprising.
Right. So
he was probably just calling to say, where's my breakfast?
No, that wouldn't be Granddaddy.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Not a family tradition.
He wouldn't have called me. He would have called his wife, who was still alive.
That's what I thought about Baba, but oh well.
Oh, well, Baba, who knows? Sheesh, that woman. My grandmother actually had some interesting experiences right before she passed. She saw my grandfather a lot, and he died before her by about 1.5 years. She saw him a lot. She saw a lot of people who were dead. She would tell my mom that they were visiting her. And my mom would say, I think her time's coming soon. She's seeing these ghosts. One of the most interesting things that my grandmother saw before she died, she kept yelling calling my mom and complaining, and then the staff was calling my mom and complaining that my grandmother was yelling at them about the giant hole in her floor at the foot of her bed, the trough 6 feet deep that somebody had dug in her room.
Oh, that's creepy.
Yeah, that's creepy.
Weird. could she see? What did she see down there?
She just said it was like
there
grass and dirt in her room.
So it was just an open grave at the foot of her bed?
Yeah, an open grave at the foot of her bed, she saw.
I would have yelled at people too if I'd seen that.
Yeah, exactly.
I would have yelled at anybody who would have listened. Get this grave away from my bed. I'm still alive, damn it.
I know. Oh, my mother is such a saint for holding her head through all of that, but my mom knew. My mom knew what it all meant. And that to me is more terrifying than the ghost that came after. Seeing the grave before your time has come.
Does that mean your grandmother came back and you saw her?
No. I never saw my grandmother after she passed. Okay. No. Other than being butt dialed by my grandfather, I haven't had any interaction with them since they died. And I think that's normal. And I think the only reason that I got that phone call from Granddaddy was it was an accident. I can't think of any reason he would want to reach me. Especially
since he didn't even bother to leave a message.
Well, he tried to. It was like... Oh, I forgot to mention. My dead cat came back to visit me last night. That was nice.
Wait, which dead cat?
Oh, Leah. It was so cool.
Oh, you love Leah. She's so fluffy.
I know. I miss her so much.
I remember when she used to put her tail through the stream of your husband's urine.
Yes.
Back and forth. That was her favorite.
I know.
She liked catching geckos. She was a good girl.
She was. They'd always have to be like, don't pee on the cat. Yeah, that big fluffy tail just get everywhere. Yeah, so last night I was curled up. You know, I think these things happen when you're really sick. I think you're more likely. You're a little bit, you're a little closer to that plane when you're really sick.
Yeah.
Which is why I have resisted the urge to pull out my Ouija board this whole illness. I'm like, don't do it, Becky, don't do it, Becky, don't do it, Becky, you're already close enough. The urge is there, and I'm like, don't do it. But I was curled up in bed last night, and I felt that little nose touch my fingers, and you know how they do that? They're like, up in your fingers, and I was like, oh, I thought it was one of my...
I want you to sniff your fingers so hard, but don't you dare boop me.
Yes, exactly. And I felt that little nose, but it wasn't wet like one of my kitty's noses. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I looked over and there was no kitty there. And I thought, oh, okay, maybe I have nerve issues with my hands. Maybe it was just that. Maybe a nerve firing in a weird way in my fingertips. And then I felt someone on my legs doing that thing cats do where they knead into the covers. But I noticed that this wasn't as heavy, like it didn't feel as strong as my living cats. And of course I sat up to see who it was, and no living cat was there. But it was a very distinctive feel. I was like, aww, she just came back to check up on me.
Oh,
sweet. I miss that
sweetie.
cat. Yeah.
She was a sweet cat.
She was a sweet cat, and I miss her so much. And it was so nice that she came and visited me last night. A little Christmas gift for me.
Oh, ginger cats are the best.
Mm-hmm.
Not having any cats except ginger cats in the future. Definitely.
I know that was very cheery. And happy holidays, y'all.
It makes my Yuletide go. I don't know about you, but that was great. Thank you for sharing that bizarre story from your dead family members. I wish I could retaliate, but all my family dying stories are really sad and not funny in the least. So yeah, I'm not going to share any of that.
I guess it just depends on how you approach death. It is sad for most people. I don't know why it's not in my family.
It's because your Bible burned up. Whole family's like, fuck it. I guess we're not tracking any deaths anymore. Well, you died. Oh, well, it's on you.
Oh,
this
no.
is part of the legacy.
That's terrible. You're awful. That's probably true. Yeah, our family Bible burned up in 1960. We have no records anymore of anybody.
The whole family's like, oh, well, I guess it doesn't matter. Life or death, all the same now.
We also cremate. We don't bury, so it's not like there's gravestones anywhere we can go back and visit. So that's also an issue.
You can do all sorts of stuff with cremains, though. I mean, you can make like a necklace or a diamond or a vibrator. All sorts of stuff.
Ew!
Yeah, not kidding. There's a service that'll make a vibrator out of your spouse's cremains. Are you vomiting?
No. I think so.
You look like you're vomiting.
Oh my God, I was getting over COVID, but now
I'm gonna have to go back to bed for a week.
Oh God.
It's in my will already, don't worry. I'm kidding. It's not. That's
yeah, you're
weird.
you're not really kidding. You're not really kidding.
But I'm thinking about it.
Merry Christmas, everyone. If you're trying to think of that gift that keeps on giving long after you're gone. Now you know.
Well, don't give it while you're alive. I mean, they'll have to burn a body part or two to get enough remains.
Nobody needs all their fingers, especially if you got a vibrator now. What? Is it something I said?
That was good.
All right. Well.
Lovely listeners and hated loves, have you ever had a family member be so awful in life that they haunted you in death and you couldn't wait to get rid of them? Or if you had a family member you truly loved that you really wanted to make something, let's say, not illicit, out of their cremains, please don't tell us about it on Facebook. Because we'd like to keep this light and fluffy. So, Merry Christmas to all, and to all a spooky night.
Homespun Haints is hosted by Becky Kielennick and Diana Doty, and produced by The Concept Spot. Editing and music by Becky Kielennick. Show notes by Diana Doty. If you have a ghost story and you'd like to be considered as a guest for this podcast, please visit our website at homespunhaints.com/submit. Deep in the bowels of Oklahoma exists a passageway that has remained locked for decades, untouched by mortals. We don't know why it was sealed nearly a century ago, but we are thirsting to find out. So thirsty. Do you have the same insatiable curiosity as us to see what lies beyond his threshold?
On September 24th, 2023, we will unveil the shadows together via livestream as we open this sealed passageway, slaking our thirst for arcane knowledge. And we want you to be there with us. Virtually, of course. This may be dangerous. We don't have liability insurance.
Oh, my eye!
But what will we find? Is this passageway a sealed tomb, a hideaway for treasure, a portal into another dimension? Maybe it's aliens.
Even we won't know until September 24th, and you can be there to discover the secrets with us.
I'm not scared.
Visit homespunhaints.com/basement to RSVP for this event and find out how you can participate in this interactive adventure with us.
As long as there's darkness to explore, we shall remain its loyal devotees.
RSVP now and immerse yourself in the abyss of the unknown that is Diana's Basement.
Visit homespunhaints.com/basement.